Welcome to the Stuff and Things Podcast, your home for all stuff related to your favorite things in entertainment. Now, here are your hosts.
We got a soup terrorist. Rayner's blowing a canister, and we're the most wanted in the country. But don't you worry. Daddy's home.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Boys special here on the Stuff and Things podcast. I am Sam, helping me discuss episode 5 of season 3. It's my partner in crime, it's Stefan.
Hey, I am back, you are back, the boys are here.
Oh yeah, the boys are back. The title of this episode was...
The Last Time to Look on This World of Lies.
Any idea?
Nope.
Any kind of...
Not a clue. Nope.
I feel like with a sentence like that, I was kind of waiting for the big reveal during the episode.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was like, do you remember 30 Seconds to Mars, the band? And they used to just like make really random names of their songs, and like Panic at the Disco the same. It feels like that sort of era. Just like, think of something random for a name. I've got it.
It's one of those things, when it's like comic book shows and stuff like that, I do tend to always think there's some meaning somewhere. And it could just be the fact that that's what they're playing on. They're then playing on everyone who's watching this show to be just like, where is it? But which is very their humour, of course. Or there's people literally screaming at this podcast like, now you pair of idiots, it was this.
Yeah, like, we geek out when, like, if the name of the title is said by a character, we're like, there it is. I don't remember anyone saying that line. No, me neither, to be honest with you. But
the episode, we said this before. We said this on episode 4. So, like, we did a show which is episodes 1, 2, and 3, which is how they're released on Amazon. We did a show talking about them, the kind of setting up everything, what was going on. And it was a very broad brushstrokes kind of thing. And then episode 4 dropped, and it was... There's a lot, there's a lot happening. Yeah. This was kind of... There's a lot. Episode 5 continues that. There is a lot of stuff to wade through with this.
Yeah.
I've kind of broken it down a little bit into sections. So I wanna start with talking about the lovely Frenchie. He's told by little Nina that because Butcher basically wrecked that lab, destroyed loads of her contacts in Russia, because he made the introduction, he's responsible for what Butcher did. And basically hands him an assignment to go kill a man and his daughter. This kind of circles back a little bit to what I've said before, which is like none of these people are good people. Like Frenchie, I just described as lovely, used to kill kids. A contract killer. Yeah,
because he's like, but it's a child, and she's like, not the first time, never stopped you before, and you're like, it's weird because we're getting the backstory of these characters, but it's like being drip-fed like through interactions.
Yeah.
Like, we found out a lot about MM and his past and his parents and stuff thanks to the drip feeding about Soldier Boy. And now we're kind of finding more and more out about French's past through Nina.
Yeah.
It's very cleverly done.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's a natural way of doing it rather than the large flashback kind of way, which I know a lot of series like to do. Kimiko's powers appear to be completely gone.
And she's so happy.
She is so happy. And she's just adorable, but again, is an absolute mass murderer. I mean, in the last episode, she took out a room full of armed men with dildos.
Yeah.
There's a sentence I never thought I was
going to say. It's a sentence, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite the statement piece of your assassination. Like, how does she kill? Nunchucker? Oh no, she likes to use a 14-inch jelly dong named what was it again?
The Star Spangled Banger.
That was it. Oh man, that's still wrong.
That's still there, isn't it? That's still there.
Yeah. That's left a mark.
But it really did.
It really did, yeah. Yeah, when they say they're going to blow the back out of somebody, not quite what I had on mind. But yeah, so French is there, Kimiko's... Now, this is quite interesting to me because it basically suggests that Soldier Boy has the ability now to neutralise V, Compound V. So if like someone, he literally could unleash and it will just take it out of them. But at the same time, if not for her initial healing ability, surely that would have just killed her. Did you see where I'm going with this? Because like his nuclear sort of unload from his chest or whatever the hell is going on, we see that happen in this episode. He levels like an entire corner block, killing loads of people.
Yeah.
You know, but with Kimiko, it seems to have neutralized her powers, but she is going to survive. But surely
so there must have been like the instant healing power was there to deflect it, but then it was the bit of rebar that goes through her is what has caused the problems.
That's what I'm wondering, yeah. It's kind of like the initial blast was kind of taken on by her ability, but then the ability was kind of like irradiated out of her. And I'm wondering if it's the radiation that's actually playing a part in this. Like, so for example, if they want to kill Homelander, do they need to lure him into like a radioactive kind of zone and he'll lose his powers temporarily whilst he's there? Did you see what I mean?
Potentially. Yeah, potentially that is what the thing is.
It would be really interesting to see if they have to set up some sort of trap with that. I'd find it interesting anyway.
Yeah, or like I say, just let Soldier Boy just unleash his chest blast.
Well,
shoot him.
Well, it's interesting because obviously in this episode, Soldier Boy and Butcher appear to have done a deal. I'm not entirely sure about that, but we'll circle back to that. But just focusing on Frenchie and Kimiko's story for a moment. Kimiko is so happy she has a musical daydream.
So this is the second one that she's had so far in this series.
Yeah.
And I'm really confused because before she goes into the daydream dance-off thing, which, let's be honest, I think I said when I watched it, I said out loud, I was like, there's no other characters in this show that could probably get away with a musical interlude apart from these two.
I don't think there's another show on the planet that could put something like this in there.
Just so random.
Yeah.
But Chelsea, she almost makes a noise and speaks beforehand, doesn't she? Like she kind of makes that kind of noise. You're like, her voice is coming back, and then we go into that interlude, and now I'm like, wait, was her voice coming back,
no,
or was it just all part of it? Or
no, it's in her head. I mean, she wants to be able to speak because when it comes back from it, she's just there cuddled into him. He's not like rushed off to get help or anything like that. Like, she can speak. He's not done that. It worries me, and I'll tell you why it's worrying me, because like you just said, there's a couple of times now we've had these musical interludes for where it's in her head. It's like quite lovely fantasy. She's also just lost her healing ability, her powers. I have this inbuilt worry that something's going to happen to her, and it's going to be like she's picturing this wonderful, you know, romantic almost future, and then all of a sudden, gone.
I just don't know which one of the two is going to go.
Did you feel like one of them is though?
Frenchie. Yeah, I still fear for Frenchie.
I'm kind of like both of them. Where I mean, to be honest with you, I think the only characters at the moment I don't fear for, or the only character I don't fear for, is actually Hughie. I kind of feel like Hughie is so essential to the show in a kind of main arc of normal person being confronted with just batshit crazy on a regular basis. So I kind of feel like that, but even like Butcher and a couple of like Homelander characters, like I'm looking at it and thinking, you know, you could write them out. You could make a kind of massive statement of one of them going
season finale. Oh my god!
Yeah. You know, how in hell are we going to come back from this, or is there a way back from this? So I do look at that and wonder. I do think there's a potential problem, but yeah, Frenchie and Kimiko, and I think they're doing it to us on purpose, aren't they? They're deliberately tormenting us. That
don't show people happiness. Yeah.
It's right there. It's like, oh no, don't do this to me. The musical number in the hospital, I mean, just cracked me up. So that's got to be said. Now she kisses him, and he seems to run away.
I mean, literally. I just go get coffee.
Literally run away. He goes to get coffee, but then he gets grabbed, and it's just kind of heartbreaking now because, again, going back to this my fear thing, what if she never finds out that he, she always thinks he ran out, like she kissed him and he ran.
Yeah.
Do you
Well,
know what I mean?
last time he tried to kiss her, she almost killed him.
Well, yeah.
So I can understand his fear a little bit.
I definitely. But if you think about it from her point of view, she lays a kiss on him. He clearly felt uncomfortable and ran. And she's like, oh, okay, well, wait for him to come back and we'll talk or sign. And he doesn't come back. She's going to think, oh, crap, I thought we were in love. Oh, no, this is all on me.
Wow, I read those signs wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm kind of, again, it kind of ties into these two not being safe worrying me. There's definitely that.
Oh, there's going to be some like real heart-wrenching final scene of one of them's dying and they admit to each other that they've always loved each other. And they'll be like, oh no!
You and your dark heart writing these things, no.
Between Miss Marvel and killing off her parents, and now I'm killing off the love interest in this. Yeah.
Yes. One of the other major subplots, sort of going on is to do with A-Train. A-Train aggravated us a lot last week by basically sticking his nose up at Homelander's backside and getting other Supes killed. Basically trying to secure his position, and he's rewarded by Homelander by allowing him to have a sit down with Blue Hawk to try and address the issue that A-Train brought up. Blue Hawk, as a lot of people will know, is a Supe character, a minor Supe, who's basically patrolling around, dishing out justice in his words, in his mind, but would appear to be predominantly targeting black neighborhoods and attacking black people. Yeah. This show holds a mirror, a very, very distorted, messed up mirror, but holds a mirror to society. And
people on Reddit and Twitter are not so fond of that. Yeah.
No. And I think what's interesting to me is that the Blue Hawk character has created the actual debate from the show in real life, which is like mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, it's scary, isn't it?
So there are always going to be trolls on the internet. Now, the definition of a troll on the internet is someone who's deliberately antagonistic. So someone who will go to a message board and go, look, I know he did a lot of bad stuff, but Hitler could really paint. And people will lose their freaking minds about, how in the hell can you reduce one of the worst people in humanity to just being a good painter? And the troll will just keep going and going until people explode, and they've achieved their goal. They've wanged people up. And
at that point, they log off and just let the world burn. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. They literally, that's the role of a troll. So on a regular basis, in any genre, any kind of fandom or anything, you will get that. So it does not surprise me that people are like, that Blue Hawk character, I think he was right. Because that will immediately trigger people. That will immediately get people going, how can you be siding? Like, a lot of people are going, Homelander speaks the truth. It's like, no, come on now. You're just doing this deliberately. Unfortunately, when it moves beyond kind of troll comments to actually being full-on Reddit threads, full-on massive groups of people from Facebook and other social media sites discussing the Blue Hawk situation, and actually all going on about how he had nothing to apologize for. He is stopping criminals. He is doing his job. Yeah. And it kind of brings in the whole. The show have done it deliberately. They've brought in the BLM, Black Lives Matter. They even show Blue Hawk blaming Antifa for his rage outburst. I came here to apologize, and some Antifa thugs turned it into this. It was very on the nose, which the boys so often are. And I'm kind of looking at this and I'm like, I'm struggling to find how you could watch this and look at it and then go, whew, that's quite extreme. That Blue Hawk guy did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? How? And like I said, I know that people are deliberately trolling, and perhaps it began with deliberate trolling, but unfortunately has somehow managed to garner a fan base to the trolling, which are people that just, I don't understand why they watch this show. Because, you know, the previous episode around guns, you know, Butcher arriving and, you know, metal detector going off and him showing his gun going, oh, nice piece, go on. And him being like, okay, that's not what I was expecting.
Yeah, they are seriously taking the piss out of the way the world is run at the moment.
Yeah.
But at the same time, kind of giving a nod to, yeah, we're all aware this is how the world is run at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, you know, everything's built on bullshit. And the Blue Hawk apology, for example, in this moment, in this town hall meeting, I think summed up the nonsense that we're seeing on a regular basis around the, you know, Black Lives Matter to the debate of all lives matter, and then he started shouting soup lives matter.
Yeah.
I'm watching it like, dude, what the you know,
Yep.
this is so, and then he just starts attacking people. You know, people are arguing, they're shouting, they're irate. And then he uses his powers in his position to just start launching people, and you know, and he hurts. I think it's A-Train's brother, or I'm not sure if it's
his brother's back.
Yeah, and A-Train just again. I mean, he's not able to do anything.
No,
and I'm kind of waiting for the moment where I feel like A-Train's gonna snap. It's got to come, hasn't it? You know, it's kind of like we know that if he uses his abilities, he runs the risk of, you know, just dying, keeling over.
Yeah, he's running roulette with his own body, isn't he? Yeah, but
I kind of feel like at some point,
he's gonna have to. Yeah.
At some point, he's definitely going to snap. But I find all of the Blue Hawk scenes quite disturbing, because of the holding a very distorted mirror to the world. But I also found the reaction online even more disturbing. So
yeah,
I kind of want to leave that where it is. I think we've touched on it now.
Park that one up for the moment. Yeah.
The Deep has been put in charge of crime analytics. He arrives with cupcakes and then fires most of the people because some of them had anti-Homelander tweets in the past.
Yeah.
He values loyalty over all of this. So, I mean, the Deep again is so far up Homelander's ass, but he's being manipulated or just run by this woman. I don't know who this woman is still.
I think it's like the wife has kind of really got him on strings, isn't she?
Yeah.
Like every time he talks, she seems to be like
puppeting. Yeah. Do you think she's anything more than just someone who's really ambitious? Do you think like she's a vault plant or someone from outside vault, like the church?
I think she's still something to do with the church.
Yeah,
because she came from that whole cult thing.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's going to come back in the Church of the Seven. Is it something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Because they seem to be playing a larger role, or it was going to be introduced as a larger role in season 2, but then the guy got his head popped, and they haven't been mentioned really in season 3 at all.
I wonder if she was kind of like the second in command, and that's why she's there.
Yeah, maybe. Well,
there's definitely something going on there.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Probably one of the greatest scenes in superhero TV ever is Queen Maeve and Butcher.
Yeah. So when we've been saying,
did you see that coming?
In previous episodes we've been saying we want to see more of Queen Maeve. She needs a bigger part. Let's see more of her. That wasn't quite the more of her that we meant, but
I don't know.
Wasn't complaining. No. Am I allowed to say that out loud? I don't know. In this show, I'll get away with it. Yeah, no, I didn't. When they started drinking, once they were sat on the sofa drinking, I was like, oh my God, I know where this is going. And then I remembered how she said, didn't she say in like one of the very first episodes that how she's a soup, she'd snap him like a twig?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I know where this is going.
Yeah,
I hope she plays gentle.
Yeah, I hope she either like doses him up. So the interesting thing is we see Hughie tell Starlight earlier that they're all out of this V now. You know, he used it once, kind of regretted it, but then admitted that he actually loved it, which we kind of knew. We noticed that. Yeah. Now Butcher, Queen Maeve walks in with a load more of this stuff. Which she has stolen from him. So Butcher clearly is maybe becoming addicted to it, which is a little bit of a worry.
Yeah.
or perhaps just, again, is so focused on killing Homelander, he's not thinking about what the actual cost is to him.
Yeah.
Those two get... I mean, she says, like, I've been sober for 3 months, you asshole, and he's like, a full year for me, and then the pair of them are just getting smashed drunk.
Yeah.
There's a fair few lines in amongst this. With great power comes the absolute certainty that you're going to be a... Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like, slight variation on a very famous line.
Yeah, I feel like there's a Marvel writer somewhere speaking to an attorney right now. Can I sue? Well, no, they didn't use the line. They said something else. No, but everyone knows what they meant.
Everyone knows the line.
Yeah.
With great power comes great responsibility. Not great power comes the ability to become an absolute... That is not how the line goes.
Well, it is in The Boys, just to be clear, and I think in The Boys it suits. I did find it interesting though. Butcher actually says in this, and he's being genuine, and he's being really genuine with Maeve about the fact he's like, no, this stuff is evil. I hate it because it just makes me more me.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really powerful line. Just really interesting because he clearly recognizes that, and yet he's still doing it. And I think this comes into the blatant disregard he has for his own safety or his own health right now, which again goes towards Maeve is the same way. Both of them seem to be on this collision course. Sorry, mate, you were saying.
No, he comes out with that line, doesn't he, about how no, we need to kill all of this off. Like everyone who has this has to die. Yeah. And obviously, he's saying that to Maeve, who is sat next to him with those powers.
Yeah,
he's basically saying, you're going to die. You all need to die. I mean, all of you.
The show is varying from the comic in quite a long way, but in the comic, Butcher actually becomes a villain. In the comic book, Homelander is killed by somebody else, and Butcher takes all of that rage and everything he was projecting into Homelander and killing Homelander, and literally just starts killing every soup, any of them. Doesn't matter whether they're good, they're bad, what they do, he just hunts them and kills them. And he is a villain. He is an actual villain in it.
Yeah.
You could easily see his character go that way. I hope the show varies that. I like the dynamic of the boys, the group, trying to do good, but generally it being a mess.
Yeah, they're trying their best, but it's not going well.
Yeah, and it just being a messy kind of mistake. And I don't know. I think it's possibly because with Butcher, I like the idea of his character. I like the fact that every now and again you get to see the real version. Him talking to last week about the reason you're on the team is because I know I'm not good, and I need that anchor. A team needs that. So you had to be, you were essential. He also talks about this week with Maeve, like I said, and you look at that and you go, there's a decent human there. So why is it he behaves so appallingly on a regular basis to people who care about him? I think right now he knows he's on his way to his death and he's pushing people away. I
agree. I think he knows that he's probably like he's home. I think the Homelander saw it as well. Like there's going to be a showdown there. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure like he's convinced that he's going to die killing Homelander.
Yeah, or trying.
So therefore, if I've got no one around me, no one else gets hurt.
Yeah.
We obviously
had the sex scene between Butcher and Maeve, which was hardcore. Maeve didn't break him in half. Lucky for Butcher. But unfortunately, Maeve then has a run-in with Homelander.
Yeah.
I find that we've talked about Homelander's ability to make every scene uncomfortable, and the actor doing a phenomenal job at just creating this kind of terrorizing villain of the piece. And he's done it again in this scene where I genuinely thought Maeve was going to be killed, and to be honest with you, I don't know what's happened to her.
I don't know if she's not.
Me and you
I have a fear. Yeah.
Me and you have a very dark fear, which we'll come to when we talk about what the next few episodes are at the end.
Yeah.
But you know, she's taken. Starlight tries to find out where she is, and I thought for a moment she was getting through to the woman who's been named CEO. You know, basically the woman that Homelander's mentally abusing to the point she's ripping out her own hair.
Yeah.
Is now the kind of, if you like, shop window in charge. Homelander's running the ship completely, but she's the face. And I thought Starlight was getting through to her for a moment, but I think the fear of Homelander kicked in pretty hard. And she
it was like she almost agreed.
Maeve's at rehab.
Yeah.
I mean,
one night on the town and she's in rehab. Unbelievable.
Yeah, so I don't know. I hope Maeve's okay because, again, it's a character I quite like in this show.
Yeah.
So the main kind of crux of the story then is around Soldier Boy. Soldier Boy's made it back to the USA, and we see that you know how I made jokes about kind of Captain America, Winter Soldier kind of thing. You know, the Winter Soldier loses all control with those set words.
Yep.
Yeah, I kind of find it interesting that Soldier Boy lost all control just hearing Russian
music. Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of hearing that accent, that the words, lost all control and basically ignited an entire building. is trying to go see his daughter. By the way, that dynamic with the daughter's stepdad being a massive Homelander fan. Oh, that's
yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of. I mean, it's funny because I say funny. It's not funny at all. But I know a lot of people who American politics, for example, around Donald Trump are deeply divisive. Like there are whole families who currently don't talk to each other because one person votes for and one person. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's so deeply divisive, and it made me think of that. It made me think of like the equivalent of someone saying, you know, who is far more liberal and their child being babysat by a Trump supporter who's got the child sat in front of, you know, wearing a MAGA hat and watching a Trump give an address on immigrants. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like walking in and going, what the
no!
You know, and this isn't me trumping in any sort of political agenda. I'm just saying that's the kind of mirror I think they're holding up there. You know, you basically quite literally got a white supremacist in Homelander who is continuing the Stormfront kind of narrative because he's realised that keeps him liked and he can be more him, with a white stepfather saying, oh, I like him, you know, he speaks truth to power, whilst MM's daughter, you know, is black, and he's like looking at him like, no, I'm not, do not expose my child to this. And he then sees the thing about the whole city block going up. He knows it's Soldier Boy because of what he saw in Russia. And he has like an absolute kind of mental break in that moment, and he runs out. His daughter's very upset, but he runs out. I mean, that relationship is upsetting me. You know, I just want him to be. I like MM. I want him to be good. I want him to have some sort of regular relationship with his kid. It just feels like until the Soldier Boy situation in his mind is resolved, it's never going to happen.
No, agreed. Yeah. That has got a hold over him like crazy.
Yeah, and it's like brings on like panic with him. You can see it. He's a mess. Hughie and Butcher go to the scene to check it out, to have a look around. Hughie gets sprung for not having a broken arm anymore.
Turns out it's just a bad sprain, don't worry.
That's going to be interesting. That's got to come up. That's got to hit him.
That can't just be a throwaway. That's got to be a...
No, that I feel like that Victoria Newman's going to show up in front of him at some point, and he's just going to absolutely panic. And with good reason.
He was panicking enough with just her friend being there.
I know. She looks at someone the wrong way and you're dead. You know, literally. So yeah, I find that interesting. I find I also think the kind of MM showing up at that and the dynamic between the three of them, where Butcher's like, look, you don't like me right now. You don't want to be part of the team, but we all need each other if we're going to take down Soldier Boy.
Yeah.
And he does say it like that. He makes it clear. He goes off and he offers M the Compound V stuff. M thankfully says no. Hughie, however,
saying that, can you imagine the person as big and muscular as MM?
Well,
and on
everyone
V.
seems to get. Well, you got no idea what ability they're going to get. I mean, Butcher's getting the laser eyes and strength. We have no idea whether that gives him durability or not. Hughie's teleporting. MM could. You have no idea where that would
just
go.
Suddenly sprouts gills. Like, oh,
yeah. Like, oh, I don't want to be another one of the deep. So yeah, you got no idea. And so Hughie and Butcher are back on the stuff again, even though Hughie had told Starlight he wouldn't do it again.
Yeah.
Which was predictable. Wholly predictable.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when he went off about how he didn't feel, I don't feel powerless when I'm this. I'm useful. So what do you want? Do you want completely unuseful getting in the way, Hughie, where I'll probably die? Or do you want me to actually be able to help?
Yeah. But then again, we still don't know that Hughie's invincible. Like, we don't,
No.
He might be able to teleport, but he hasn't got, translucent, bulletproof skin or anything,
No,
don't
exactly.
know.
I mean, Soldier Boy took out Kimiko with that blast. You teleport into that, you're dead.
I have, that could be a fear as well. That's a fear of mine for Hughie, because with this show, I know they've kind of advertised season 4, and they've kind of all the cast are doing it, but no Frenchie still. I've still not seen Frenchie anywhere. But anyway,
yeah.
So you have to assume the people that you see advertising season 4 are safe, but then at the same time, you know that it's it's Hollywood, as they say, so it can all be a goose chase anyway. Yeah. And I have this horrible fear of Hughie teleporting himself in front of Starlight to save her from something. And then us realising that, his only ability is to teleport. He's not got bulletproof skin or anything. Oh, crap.
It's possible. Yeah, it's possible. Or he does it for Butcher or one of the group. It's infinitely possible. See, he was the one I thought was safe, but now not so much. No.
Yeah, he teleports in, thinks he's saved someone's life. They're like, brilliant. And then they look down and realise that he's just covered in blood.
He's dead.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, well, no, yeah, you
that's a fear I have. That's a fear I have.
Yeah, no.
Because he's now so confident and so cocky because he's got this, I squeeze my butt cheeks, then I'm over there. And I'm like, too confident. Don't like it.
The group MM, Hughie, and Butcher are trying to hunt down Soldier Boy, and they realise where they are, and it's near the home of a former vault handler, CEO of talent, known as The Legend.
The Legend. I like that. It's not a nickname, it's a status.
No. Yeah,
the
guy who plays The Legend, a lot of Stranger Things fans will spot him straight away. He's a big character in Stranger Things. He's been in loads of stuff, countless things throughout the years. And The Legend, and I think he got to create something there where you could tell he was mimicking someone he's seen in his career in Hollywood. And was just basically tearing him a new one. I mean, he's got pictures all over the walls, which I think are genuine pictures of this guy, by the way, with various people, and they've just utilised it. Yeah, which I thought was clever. But yeah, he's been around a long time. I like him. He doesn't like Butcher. It seems to be a running theme that people don't like Butcher, and that's fine. He likes MM though, and he does eventually give the information they were after, which is, yes, Soldier Boy was here. He's now on his way to see the Crimson Countess's ex. I don't think it's going to be... I don't think it's going to be a happy reunion. Now, what was kind of funny is, up to this point, I hadn't really thought about it, but yeah, the Countess told everyone he was dead. Then when that was questioned, ran off. He's been locked up for a long time, and he's out. And the minute he said, I don't think it's going to be a happy reunion, I was like, oh wow, she set him up.
Yeah.
Because you remember in the flashback, she arrives and tells everyone he's dead. It's her. They killed him, and they've taken his body.
Yeah.
Nope.
It was all her.
Yeah, she set him up. He is on his way there. They're setting a trap. Butcher, souped up Hughie. I think does the equivalent of calling a friend's mum on them by calling Starlight.
Yeah, we need supervision.
Yeah, who basically shows up and gives Hughie, like, why didn't you want me here? Like, I can help. What are you gonna do? And Hughie basically then demonstrates that he can teleport. She is pissed.
Yeah.
I think she's trying to be very understanding, trying to be kind of like, look, I get how you're feeling with this, but, you know, you told me no more. You know, you should be involving me in this stuff. You know, I can help. I'm not, you know, I can be involved. And then we realise, which to me was probably one of the saddest moments in this series so far, is when I realised that Butcher has drugged
Yeah.
The saddest moment for me is because, as I said earlier on, I want to like the Butcher character. Like, there's something about him and the way he goes about stuff and the stuff he's been through that I kind of resonate with in a weird way. And I want him to be good, but he continually does stuff. Which I'm like, oh, damn it.
When he drugged my first thought was, oh my god, he's drugged him with Compound V. That was my first thought, was like, oh my god. Because he said, you know, you're never going to forgive me for this. And I'm like, oh my god, he's drugged him with Temp V. Oh my god, he's going to kill him. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And then the legs start going, and I'm like, oh no, he's tranked him. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, my mind immediately realised why. Because he knows wants Soldier Boy dead. Butcher wants him to kill Homelander.
Yeah.
He wants him to be the weapon. You know, they went to Russia looking for a weapon. They found Soldier Boy, but he can be the weapon. And Butcher is so blinded by his goal of killing Homelander. Like, he doesn't care. He's just trampling over everyone. And what is disturbing is Hughie was in on it.
Yeah, Hughie was aware.
Who we have described and has been described as Butcher's balancing influence. The kind of, oh, you need him around you. You know, he's good for you. People have said it a lot. Yeah. And yet Hughie is so, I don't know, he's become so kind of wrapped up in his own, I feel defenseless and powerless. This is giving me power. This is giving me ability to defend myself. You know, Butcher's right.
Okay.
And don't get me wrong.
Yes, I've taken it slightly differently.
Okay.
I've kind of taken it more as he's been around Butcher for that long, and what Homelander is currently doing with like Starlight and stuff is almost like Butcher's hatred has now kind of mirrored onto Hughie. So
I think you're right. Yeah,
Hughie's willing to do whatever it takes now to get rid of Homelander.
Well, he literally says, you know, whatever it takes. He asks. I mean, Starlight is disgusted with them. And she's there with and asks Hughie to stay, but Hughie goes with Butcher. I mean, that's messed up. But we see this interaction between Butcher and Soldier Boy. Soldier Boy's like, you're the guy from the lab. And he's like, yes, mate. And, you know, I want to do a deal. I want to do a deal with you. And that kind of happens. But then they have captured the Crimson Countess, left her there completely defenseless. And, of course, he goes in to see her. I mean, that's an ice-cold scene, isn't it?
It is.
Because it feels to me like the group that he belonged to, that he was the leader of, are very much like the Seven, and everyone else there didn't like him, like no one likes Homelander.
Yep.
Now, he's obviously been locked down for a long, long time, and he's had all of this stuff done to him. You saw the videos of them literally firing into his mouth, shooting him, setting him on fire, pouring acid into him. Even if his ability to heal and not feel, he's going to be feeling it. So mentally, mentally he's in a bad way. And he just kills her, just unleashes, just absolute revenge. I I wanna know what more there was to it, because she says she didn't do it for money. I mean, it's basically, was she basically saying she did it because
what did
she
they
hated
pay
him?
you? Nothing.
Yeah, it's like, so she basically like, I hated you that much, I wanted you gone.
Yeah.
Is that basically what she was saying? Because it kind of feels to me like, well, that's kind of crazy.
I felt a little bit like she'd been screwed over. Like when the way she says, "I didn't get anything," wasn't for me.
Yeah.
It wasn't a case of, "Oh no, I made the deal without getting any money." It kind of felt a bit more like, "Oh, they promised me all this stuff, then they took you, and I never saw them again."
Yeah. I mean, we do see that she's obviously not got a lot of money because she's
Soupporn.com. Yeah.
Yeah, she's performing, and we have probably the craziest cameo in comic book TV history, where the real Seth Rogen appears as a masturbating soup fan of Crimson Countess.
Have you seen his Twitter?
No.
So he has sent out a tweet just to clarify that in The Boys, he is playing, in quotations, he is playing Seth Rogen, who is actually a Hollywood movie star who stars alongside people such as Black Noir, but goes by the alias of Sir Comes-a-Lot 779. So Seth Rogen is playing Seth Rogen.
Well, I know in the
Seth Rogen.
comics, Seth Rogen, yeah.
The guy is insane, but he's amazing.
It's messed up. But yeah, I mean that's kind of. I think the final words. I mean, do you have any other points in this episode before we move on to what's coming up?
No, I think we've covered everything really.
Yeah, I thought so. Now you said to me earlier on that they've released the names for the next 3 episodes, the final 3 episodes.
Yes. Yeah.
What are they then? So episode 6 is titled
the one that we're both so scared of, Herogasm.
Yep.
I am terrified.
Very much so.
You know what it's like? We know when we do this podcast that of all the shows that we do on Stuff and Things, this is kind of the podcast where we're most able to be ourselves, because heck, if the show can say and do this stuff, we can get away with talking about it. You know, Ms.
Very
Marvel
much so,
is, you know, we have to try and stay as correct as we can for Ms. Marvel because it's MCU and all that sort of thing, and the Obi-Wan Kenobi show is set in that universe, so we try to keep to that. The Boys is kind of like a leash is off. You know, you talk about whether you like The Boys.
Yeah.
We've both don't read the comic books, so we don't know what Herogasm is. But we've both Googled and we've just got like this one sentence about how it's an annual retreat.
Yep.
And that alone has made us both kind of go, oh my gosh, next week's podcast.
Yeah, it's gonna be awkward. It is the way I feel.
Yeah.
So episode 6 is called Herogasm, and episode 7 is called
Here Comes a Candle to Light You to Bed.
Okay, all right. And the finale of the season, episode 8 is called
The Instant White Hot Wild.
Wow. Okay. So there we go. We've got 3 episodes left, so 3 more weeks talking about The Boys.
Which seems insane, because it feels like we're only at like the beginning of the season. It's crazy.
Well, we are a long time. Yeah, we went a long time, but I mean, it's an 8-episode season every year.
Yeah.
And I think they do 8 very good episodes every year, so I'm happy. But yeah, so much to find out. You know, what's going to happen with Frenchie? Is anyone going to help him? How's going to react to what Butcher and Hughie are doing? How's Starlight going to react? Butcher, what deal has he actually done with Soldier Boy? Is Soldier Boy trustworthy? Is the deal that he's going to help him hunt down the rest of his crew in exchange for him taking out... I mean, we got no idea.
No.
Homelander, what's happened to Maeve? Herogasm, literally described as an orgy where superheroes bang each other once a year. I got a horrible feeling I got a horrible feeling about where she is.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen, and it's making me feel very uneasy. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope they're not going to go there. But Starlight,
we both had the same theory on the Queen Maeve. We both had almost identical theories, and we both kind of felt bad even typing it to each other.
Hope we're wrong. I mean, Starlight, think about what happened with the Deep. Is she going to be dragged to this?
Yeah.
You know, you get the impression that Homelander's going to say, hey, we got this old tradition, I'm bringing it back. And everyone's going to be like, no. And he's going to be like, yes. Messed up. I don't know. I don't know what to think.
I'm not inviting you, I'm just commanding you.
Yeah, I'm telling you, and you're going to do what I tell you to do with who I tell you. Is terrifying. But that is going to be next week. We will be talking about that then. All things The Boys. A massive thank you to everybody for joining us. Big thank you to everyone who continues to message in. Send us in your emails, your messages to any of the social media platforms. I'll make sure on next week's show we read a few out. Until then, everybody, you all take care.
We out.
Thank you for listening to the Stuff and Things podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. You can find us on Facebook or online. Simply search the Stuff and Things podcast to join in our conversation every week.
With great power comes the absolute certainty that you'll turn into a right cunt.